Now, from your Weather Authority, your Ktab forecast first.
Well, the drizzle's kind of gone away, but it's still awfully cold outside, and skies are going to begin to clear as we get closer to the early morning hours, and it's going to be cold in the morning. 29 degrees out the door. You'll get that heavy coat and love it, that's for sure. Winds start picking up middle of the morning. Southwest winds gusting to 20 miles an hour. That'll warm us up to the upper 50s by tomorrow afternoon. That's your forecast first. Ktab News at 10 starts in 60 seconds.
With coverage you can count on. This is Ktab News at 10.
Good evening. Thank you for choosing Ktab News, coverage you can count on. I'm Stacy Lopez.
And I'm Bob Bartlett. 2 teenagers die in a traffic accident near Comanche. The DPS is still figuring out what happened. That's tonight's top story.
A report from the Texas Department of Public Safety says the fatal wreck happened south of Comanche on Texas Highway 36 around 1 Monday afternoon. The 16-year-olds Patricia D. Tubbs and Felicity Kidd of Hamilton were both pronounced dead at the scene. According to the report, Tubbs was driving a pickup when it went off the highway and rolled, coming to a stop on its left side. And in your Eye on Crime report, another drive-by shooting was reported in a North Abilene neighborhood this morning. The call came in around 10:30. Abilene police tell us that a home in the 2400 block of State Street was hit at least one time. No injuries reported, but at least one person was at home at the time of the shooting. A report for deadly conduct has been taken, but no description of the suspect or vehicle has been given. Well, serving alcohol at city-owned facilities right now is not permitted except for special events at the Abilene Zoo and Festival Gardens.
But with the threat of the key city losing a softball tournament that brings in a lot of money, the city is now looking to change that. KTAB's Jessica Rank explains in this Eye on Abilene report.
Since 1994, softball teams from all over Texas have descended on Abilene for one weekend at the end of summer. The LULAC softball tournament bringing family, friends, and money to the key city.
It's quite lucrative. It's great for our community. Generates, in the last 4 years, a little over $600,000.
But as Debbie Schultz from the Visitors Bureau says, the tournament hasn't always had eyes for Abilene. Over the years, San Angelo has made plays to move the tournament south, offering the teams what Abilene couldn't: alcohol.
Anytime that there's a group that wants something they can't have and they can find it somewhere else, that's a threat.
A threat that could disappear. The city's Parks and Recreation Board recommending alcohol be allowed at city properties when rented by the public, including the tournament site, Nelson Park.
This year, they only agreed to host it for 1 year, and we assume that might have been part of the reason to see how this ordinance came out. So our hope is that we will be able to keep them here and sign a long-term contract with them.
The Parks and Rec Board also saying the ordinance would keep the alcohol in one place.
It is prohibited from consuming alcoholic beverages out in the parking lot. Well, guess what? It goes on, and it goes on. To include them in there, allow them to sell beer at their events, so that people won't feel like they've got to bring it in the trunk of their car in big coolers and go out there and do it.
An ordinance that would also impact rec centers, activity buildings, and more. In Abilene with coverage you can count on, Jessica Rank, Ktab News.
Thank you, Jessica. The ordinance change now moves to City Council for consideration.
Bringing in about $1 billion to the big country, agriculture is a driving force in the economy. And this week is a one-stop shop for all things farm and ranch. Farmers and ranchers from all across the nation are in Abilene for the Farm and Ranch Expo at the Taylor County Expo Center, the longest running farm show in the state. With more than 150 booths, more than 3,000 people, the expo brings in about $55,000 into the Abilene economy. But in addition to the economic benefit, this expo helps farmers and ranchers stay educated on the ever-changing industry.
The producers have to have continuing education units for their pesticides and all the different regulations and laws, and so they're here learning about all that and getting their certifications.
Tomorrow there will be an ag luncheon where $7,500 in scholarships will be given to local students, and the speaker is world-renowned animal behavior specialist Dr. Temple Grandin.
You may remember a favorite teacher as you moved from K through 12. For many students in Abilene, that would be Allie Ward. Allie Ward served the Abilene School District at Woodson Elementary, an all-black school before integration. She also was director of Christ House, a daycare for black and working-class families. Ktab spoke with two of her family members earlier about her impact on hundreds, if not thousands, of young lives.
She wanted to make sure that the ones at the Christ House knew you had to have an education. You had to learn your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s. So she made sure that they knew them.
Allie Ward Elementary School was named for her in 1992, celebrating Allie Ward during Black History Month.
All right, well, Sam is here with a look at our forecast. What do you got for us, Sam?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've got some cold temperatures.
Yes, sir.
Once again, that's no big shock there. We never climbed the ceiling very high today. We got up at 33 degrees and only topped out at 36. We're going to be even colder this coming morning, so you'll get that heavy coat and love to have it with you. Stick around, the weather's next.
With coverage you can count on. Bob Bartlett, Stacy Lopez, and Chief Meteorologist Sam Nichols. This is Ktab News at 10.
Two-year-old Lincoln is showing off at Bob.
It's a place on the road
Now, Chief Meteorologist Sam Nichols with your Weather Authority forecast.
All right, you thought it was a little bit brisk today. I know it was kind of a gloomy day, drizzly this afternoon with some mist and fog. And here's the high temperatures: 39 Gothwaite, 40 in Knox City, that's the big winner, 34 in Stanford. Everybody else really, really cold, as you well know. And in the morning, we're going to see a little different sky, but it's still going to be really cold. It's going to be sunny when we get up going in the morning, and clear skies at 29 degrees. Southwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. That's why the temperature is going to warm up tomorrow, those southwest winds. Right now, all the moisture is moved to the east and to the north. You can see Louisiana up towards Arkansas, Missouri, and beyond, but Texas still clinging to some scattered light rain showers, and that's about it. As far as the big country is concerned, not really much of anything going on. Some drizzle hanging around and some fog and mist in some areas, but we'll see the sky begin to clear as we get closer to sunrise. Tonight's snow moon, the biggest full moon of 2019. Pretty big deal. Unfortunately, it's mostly cloudy right now, but the skies are going to break towards morning, so our best chance to see this fascinating snow moon phenomenon is going to be, say, about 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning, and the moon's going to look anywhere from 10 to 16% brighter than a regular full moon. It should be spectacular if you want to get up and take a look early in the morning if the skies cooperate and clear that early. 33 outside right now. 32 is our dew point, 96% humidity, so you know it's very damp out there. Light winds out of the northwest at 6 miles an hour. Temperatures haven't changed a great deal except dropped a little bit. 29 in Snyder, 31 in Aspermont, right at freezing in Haskell and Knox City. Brownwood checking in at 38. As far as the future cast, as we mentioned, skies will clear overnight. It's going to be warm tomorrow, warmer than today. We start a warming trend. We'll get to about 59. That's a degree or two off of our average this time of year. Pick up increasing clouds tomorrow night. Partly sunny on Thursday, but continue to see that warming trend. Temperatures will jump into the 60s. 29 though tonight, clear, not clear rather, mostly cloudy, quiet and cold. The clearing comes in the morning. I want to get that sun out, don't I? 59 tomorrow. Breezy at times with those improving temperatures, those southwest winds to 20 miles an hour. 30 through the heartland tonight, and then tomorrow you'll jump all the way up to 60 degrees, warmer and light winds out of the west. We'll see those temperatures rise. Still looking at Friday as a day we'll have to keep an eye on. A 40% chance for showers and thunderstorms during the day on Friday and Friday night as a cold front moves our way. And so it could be a little bit stormy in some spots, so we'll be updating as we get towards Friday.
Well, you peered through some of those low-hanging clouds
yes.
to find that forecast.
That's right. I want that sunshine.
All right, thank you, Sam. KTAB News at 10. We'll be right back.
That maybe doesn't go with our system very well or something. Test 1, 2, and you can test 1.
Well, we did promise you in our 5 o'clock show a story on ending maternal deaths in Texas, but because of some technical difficulties, we are unable to bring you that story tonight. But we do have a story for you now on how Texans are saving lives in a different way. It was a life-saving gift that would go on to save multiple lives, but as often the case with organ donation, it would first start with a tragedy.
Jack Heiberger traveled to Lumberton near Beaumont, where an unimaginable loss gave birth to a second chance at life in North Texas.
It's a place on the road a father,
this is 6996,
never forgets.
Where those crosses are is the wreck site.
A spot where not even grass and fresh paint can ever truly hide the scars.
It tears your heart apart. 5 years, February the 3rd.
To flip back through the pages of time.
Bath time was always a hoot.
To see the faces of Courtney and Conley.
Anytime was a hoot.
Is to know both the joy and permanent pain.
There's no other feeling like it.
Of Michael and Dawn Sterling.
Courtney offered to drive for some extra drive time, and we got up off the couch, and that's where my memory stops.
Investigators estimate the driver that hit the SUV carrying Dawn and her 2 daughters was traveling over 100 miles per hour. 20-year-old Conley and her unborn child were killed at the scene. Dawn was knocked unconscious and badly hurt, and doctors would soon tell Michael Sterling that 15-year-old Courtney was brain dead.
And she wasn't coming home.
And so came a decision.
Sorry, I wasn't there.
You were there.
That Michael never could have imagined.
That's when it really sank. Thank you.
Would save a life 200 miles away.
So I remember getting a phone call in the hospital. I said, Mr. Barker, I just want to let you know that we have a liver for your wife.
By even conservative estimates, Lisa Barker had only hours to live.
If I didn't receive the gift of life.
But the life a rare liver disease had nearly stolen away was about to be donated back. Words easily fail to describe something so profound.
To my donor family, my name is Lisa and I'm 26 years old from Texas.
And yet, just 6 months after receiving the ultimate gift, Lisa knew she had to try.
I was so at peace. If I never hear back, that's fine. I just want them to know we're grateful. That was what was so huge to me.
I had found a bridge that I was going to drive off of, and Lisa's letter came 3 days before that.
I will honor, cherish, and respect this gift.
If it was Lisa's letter that saved Dawn,
because I was done,
and Courtney's liver that saved Lisa,
it's just a ripple effect.
Perhaps it's the whole story that's brought 2 families together.
Snowball effect.
And gave Reed the courage to save a guy named John.
I mean, this is a very unique situation. I don't know if you'll ever see one like this again.
Under any other circumstance, it might all seem...
I just said, hey, this is what I'm thinking.
A little bit crazy.
Started with just some basic medical history, and you have to work together.
Call it a reaction.
You got your one map out.
But when Reed heard John Putnam, a fellow teacher at Frisco ISD, needed a kidney...
Reed was the first one that volunteered. Like, as soon as he read it, he texted me.
There was no hesitation.
There you go. We want to make the Sterlings proud, and we want to honor their family in the way that we love other people.
I mean, he gave our life back to us, the kids, you know, everybody, my parents, my in-laws, all my family and friends. It extended my time with them.
But time,
hey girls,
no matter the measure, remains a concept for the living. And on a gray winter day, a mother with no children
see the gorgeous faces.
Can't help but hurt.
Sometimes I tell them about the day. Sometimes I tell them they need to come visit me. Just how much I wish they were still here.
Life for Dawn and Michael Sterling forever changed on February 3rd, 2014.
I like that picture.
But spend any length of time talking.
They loved it.
And they'll always remind you.
Life is beautiful.
Life is beautiful. Even when you deal with a loss like this, if you're going through that tragedy and can possibly save another life, I highly suggest it.
In all, Courtney Sterling's donated organs have saved or improved the lives of 5 people across Texas. All of the families in tonight's story say they hope more people will check that box on their license and register to be an organ donor, because it truly does save lives.
Our good story there. All right, it's time for sports. I know, David, you got a lot of basketball to talk about tonight.
I have got a whole bunch. We've got basketball all over the big country. We're going to let you know how Cooper and Wiley did in the boys' playoffs, and we're headed all over the big country to check in on the boys and girls postseason. It's going to be a good time. Lots of hoops. Sports is next.
This is BigCountryHomepage.com Sports with David Robinette.
The boys' high school basketball playoffs continue tonight for several big country schools. The Cooper Cougars were one of those teams. Cooper taking on Amarillo Palo Duro and Slayton. The Dons were as good as advertised. They beat the Cougars by 22, 68-46. The Wiley Bulldogs went over to Gale for their bye-district championship game against Lubbock Monterey. This game was tied at 50 late in the game. But the Plainsmen reeled off 8 straight to get the win. Every now and then you get a frog in the throat. Let's go to the court. Class 4A, Snyder and Vernon meeting in Anson. Snyder's Logan Green to Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa knocks that one out of the park. 3-run homer. Tigers up by 38. And then it's Sosa, 6 to 4 to 3 equals 2. Well, 2 points. Anyway, great execution. Tigers made this one look easy. They stay alive with a 32-point victory over Vernon. Let's go to Eula, the Merkel Badgers, and the Eastland Mavericks. Early on, Zach Brown without his band to Baron Morton. Morton hits the three. The Mavericks lead it by 1. Later, Merkel gets the turnover. Jonah White coming your way. Draws the foul and lays it in. The Badgers up by 3. This was a good one. The Badgers still alive after the first round. They topped the Mavericks by 8 to move on. Let's keep it rolling. Colorado City taking on Dublin at Cougar Gym. Colorado City up by 15. Omar Boone takes the pass, knocks it down from the corner. Wolves extend their lead. This time, Leonard Williams dishes to Boone. The other corner, Boone drills another three-pointer. Give this one to the Colorado City Wolves. They advance the area championship with an easy victory over Dublin, 74-59. Let's go to girls basketball now. What do you say? The the ladies in action. This is for a regional tournament berth. Number 6, Jim Ned. Number 14, Cisco at ACU. Early on, Lobos trailing. Caitlin Bird takes it herself, lays it in. Cisco down by 1, but the Lady Indians would respond. Malone Graham to Alexis Espinoza. She lays it in with the left hand. Jim Ned extends their lead. The Lady Indians, they're moving on to the regional tournament in Midland this weekend. They beat Cisco by the final of 46-31. 4 big country schools in the Class A regional quarters. Aspermont Lady Hornets are coming to Abilene for the regional tournament. They beat Benjamin 52-38. 2 more scores for you. 11th ranked Lipan held off Eula, and the Hermley Lady Cardinals advanced to the regional tournament by beating Patton Springs. Huckabee eliminated the Ranger girls by the final score of 70-39. That's the sports. Let's go back to Bob and Stacy.
All right, thank you, David, for that. When we come back, Sam will have another check of your forecast.
Two-year-old Lincoln is showing off.
KTAB News at 10 continues.
One of law enforcement's best tools for fighting crime and terrorism is an officer on 4 legs.
And today, a new training center specializing in teaching dogs how to sniff out explosives has opened, and Mola Lingi has our story.
2-year-old Lincoln is showing off at bomb sniffing school.
Good boy.
The yellow Labrador is learning how to use his nose to find explosives at this new training center in Orangeburg, New York.
We open them up, and then they really enjoy it. They start to have a sense of, wow, I could do this.
Navy veteran Wesley Palladino is Lincoln's handler and partner. They work on skills most dogs have, but rarely use.
He loves to work and he loves to eat, so that's what makes him a great working dog.
Lincoln is among about 200 dogs and handlers training at the MSA security facility that officially opened its doors Tuesday.
Lincoln and the other dogs at the facility end up at different locations across the country and around the world, from police departments to banks, sports stadiums, even some places you might not think of, like New York City's Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Explosive detecting canines are in high demand since 9/11.
There really isn't a better bomb detector. It is without question one of the most formidable assets we have in the fight against terrorism.
Yeah, buddy.
To Palladino, Lincoln is more than a partner. He's family.
We've been together for about a year. He lives with me. Yeah, we have a very good working relationship.
They'll be on the job together for about 8 years until Lincoln retires.
You know, we want them to lie around the house, hopefully on the couch, turn on Animal Planet, get to watch as much as they want.
Until then, Lincoln's skills could mean the difference between life and death.
Good job!
But for him, it's all just playtime. Mola Lingi, CBS News, Orangeburg, New York.
I love those dogs.
Yes,
and
definitely
they're
do.
always smelling around. All of the dogs are licensed and regulated by the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives.
All
They
right.
provide a great service.
They do. And so do you, Sam. Give us the weather.
I tell you, speaking of service, we have Skywarn training coming up this Saturday, and it's in the morning. A lot of the sessions around the area are held in the evening. This one's in the morning because it's a Saturday, 9 a.m. until noon. It's at ACU at the Onstead Packer Building. Absolutely free. You can go and get trained to be a Skywarn watcher as we have severe weather season just around the corner.
Very
it's going
good.
to be here.
We've attended those. They're great.
You bet. We have a whole list of them on our website, bigcountryhomepage.com, of all the little satellite training sessions around the areas. They just start having them on a regular basis this spring. Now, overnight it's going to be cloudy, but as we get closer to sunrise, the skies are going to break, and it'll be about 29 in the morning, but warming up to 59.
All right. Thank you, Sam, for that. Before we leave you tonight, it's a legend known to some in Buffalo Gap. And after some research, it may actually be true. Cannonballs from the Civil War era are being found in the walls of one of the buildings at the Taylor County History Center in Buffalo Gap, the old 42nd District Courthouse and Jail. The cannonballs were apparently used to fortify the walls, and in planning restoration, real cannonballs have been found in the old walls. Could lead to grants for more restoration and newfound history.
That's a fascinating place to
It
tour
really
down
is,
there.
yeah.
Of course, we've done On the Road down there.
did.
So
You bet.
great time.
It's great.
That's it for now. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.
Good night.